Luke.
Johnny.
Nice to see you again, mate.
Always a pleasure, and the beautiful surroundings of Fort Dunlop once more.
Fantastic, mate. How have you been?
Very, very well, actually, yeah. It's been 3 weeks since we last had our chats together. It feels like confession. It's been 3 weeks since we last did a video vlog, and in that time I've done terrible things. But I've been really, really good. Yourself?
Let's very good, thank you.
Can you show your black eyes to the camera?
You can redeem yourself.
That's what happens when you mess with the Wilkins, do you know what I mean?
You can redeem yourself by giving us your football or sporting wisdom, whatever you want to do. Obviously, we've had the transfer window since we last did our last chat, and there's been quite a lot of business in there. But I've got this theory that the transfer window forces managers to panic buy players, meaning we've had the massive flops in the likes of Joe and Robbie Keane and Charisma Inter even. And do you think it's time for the transfer window to be scrapped?
It's a really interesting thing. I was reading something on this about the other day. Steve Bruce from Wigan was saying how he thinks it shouldn't exist because of exactly that reason. You're forced to do a whole season's worth of transfer, kind of your whole budget and everything within 1 month, which is kind of crazy. You can't predict if you're going to have an injury another 2-3 weeks down the line. You don't know what's going to happen in 2 months' time, you know, and it is a bit of a nightmare. And you do see the teams kind of obviously going in for players. I think this year is the record amount of money spent, but in some ways as well, I do also think that it's a really good thing because someone like Villa, for instance, have had Carew as a long-term injury. They get to buy someone in like Heskey in. It's going to be a good signing. Harry Redknapp, probably the best manager in the world at the moment, has bought the players that Tottenham sold. When they were a top 8 team, they had Defoe up front, obviously, with Keane and Pascal Chimbonda, and he's brought in Palacios as well. Brought them all back for cheap. Brilliant. So it's got a place, but I do agree with what you're saying. I do think managers do hit that panic button a little bit too much.
Good bit of business I think that was done in transfer window was Villa getting Heskey for $3.5 million or whatever. But are Villa actually good enough to win the title?
Yeah, totally. I addressed this question in my column last week, but raised it because I really want Villa to win. I think they've done incredibly well to break the top 4. If they'd have won on Saturday, they would have actually been above Chelsea as well on points. I'm just a little bit upset. I think they've got the best. I think the first team-wise, they're good enough to win. I think their squad is starting to look a little bit better. If they got some key injuries, players like Young, Gabby, I think they would struggle. But I think they've got the camaraderie and the team spirit at the moment that money can't buy, and I'm loving watching them play. I was just really disappointed at the weekend. They didn't manage to get the 3 points against Wigan because it would have given an incredible opportunity, obviously, with Liverpool and Chelsea playing, to leapfrog Chelsea, stay within 3 points of Man United, and still be up for the title. I mean, they're not out of it, but at the moment they're 5 points behind. Man United have got a game in hand even, so they could have another 3 points. That would be 8 points. It's a bit much, especially with Man United looking ominous. I think Villa are good enough. I just don't think Man United will mess up.
One of your favourite sports, I know, rugby union.
Oh, bring it on!
The Six Nations this year, and it comes
so excited
every year as it comes round. But I mean, having England got a chance of winning?
Now, this is really hard. I've been chatting to a lot of my friends, French supporters, Irish supporters, Welsh supporters. I don't think England will win this year. They went to the Grand Slam. I think Wales should have that in the bag. I think they've got to play Ireland, Millennium Stadium, which is one of the big games. They've got France there as well, I'm not sure. But I think Wales are definitely the favourites. England probably looking to finish above Ireland and France if they possibly can. Even that might be aiming a bit high. It's the word that's overused in rugby, and especially the last 3 years for England. But it's a transitional period, you know. Johnson's got his young players in. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, obviously, they've dropped Cipriani, which was a big call, but I think the right one as well. He needs some time in the Saxons. Do good for his ego. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You need to be confident to be a good player, but it would be good for him to play with those guys, and it gives Toby Flood a chance to shine. What will probably happen is Toby Flood will have him there, and Cipriani will come in for game 2. But I'd love to say England could win, and I still believe, obviously, every game we go out there we've got a chance to, but I think it'll be a bridge too far now. Maybe next season, Six Nations, but I think it's going to be one hell of a tournament, because you've got Ireland, France, England and Wales all playing good rugby. Even Scotland this year are looking good, and you never know what the Italians can do in Rome. So bring it on, that's what I say.
So finally, what's in the Wilkins ranting locker?
I love the fact that I've now got a locker I keep my rants in. Actually, do you know what, this week I'm going to have a positive rant if there is such a thing. I think there should be. You know me, I'm a new man this year. Positivity's the way forward, man. No more negativity. My rant this week is going to be about snowboarding, a sport that I never thought I'd do. You know me, I play rugby, play cricket, play football, do athletics. I'll do anything as a traditional sport. But all the extreme sports, skiing, snowing, skateboarding, I've never really thought I could do. I thought a big rugby lug, I'm not going to have the balance, I'm better do it. Went down the Tamworth Snowdome the other week, like I know yourself has been as well, and had a few lessons, and oh my goodness, I've fallen in love with it. I never thought, oh man, there's no feeling like it. I could only equate it to riding like a motorbike, for instance, being on the edge, that kind of thrill of acceleration, going down the hill, and you know, some of us who are recreational boarders now, after a couple of lessons, I'm better than him, in other words, only just. It's brilliant. I was turning after 2 lessons. I was attempting to do kind of jumps and tricks, and I've honestly discovered a new passion. I think that's it. So
wow.
I just think it's one of those things I put off for probably ever since I was a kid. I put off doing it just because I thought I'll never get into it. It's too expensive or whatever. Oh my goodness! I wish I'd have done it 10 years ago. So my rant is: if you're putting stuff off, don't put it off. Go do it because it's worthwhile and it was great fun.
Well done. Smashing. Thank you for your time, Luke.
It's been a pleasure, Johnny.
As ever.
See you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.